Welcome to PrideScape, the official podcast of Pride Northwest, home of the annual Portland Pride Waterfront Festival and Parade, and much more. Each month, we will be bringing you the latest Pride Northwest updates and important news and information affecting Oregon and Southwest Washington's LGBTQ+ community. To learn more about Pride Northwest, visit our website at pridenw.org. And now your host and Executive Director of Pride Northwest, Debra Porta.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to PrideScape, Pride Northwest's official podcast. I am Debra Porta, your host. This week, we are continuing our conversation with Micozzi and Ian Morton about our Pride Elder Connections program that we recently launched. Last episode, if you haven't listened to it, definitely go back because it gives a lot of grounding to what we're even talking about. Where we've come from, sort of the environment that we're operating in, and so on. This episode, this month, we kind of want to talk about, like, what's the program doing? What are the events happening, the programmatic pieces, what's the service available, all of those pieces. Kind of talk about where we think we'd like to go, and definitely want to talk about how folks can get engaged, because this is a perfect time to get involved and get engaged in what we're doing because we're building it. And that's the fun part is putting your voice in there to be part of creating something really amazing for community. A lot of times we see kind of what's out there, and it's always kind of been there, but it had to start somewhere. Right. Mm-hmm. So this is the starting somewhere. For that, I will turn it over to Ian and Max, and y'all, you can take it from there.
Debra, I love that you said those magic words. We're building it, and I think that's, if I could think of one overview umbrella thought for this episode of the podcast, is that every person can be a building block of the foundation. That's, as soon as you said the words we're building it, that's what came to mind. That there are so many different places where our community members can connect and can be a part of a really strong community foundation that supports not only our elders but all of us. So that's where my spirit led me right now. What do you think about that, Max?
I couldn't agree with you more. This is a great opportunity for folks who have ideas and want to be a part of community, working together with community to get involved. We do have this advisory council, and we also have a planning committee so that we can start planning for some events that we know are coming our way. For instance, we have our June 27th picnic that we're sponsoring through the Warrior Women of Color and Sister Allies. And we need people and at the table, please, to help come up with ideas and help implement it with us. So yes, we have a lot of opportunity. It's a great time for building bridges. Our advisory council is a good opportunity to be a part of. We have a planning committee that will help us begin planning for some events that we have coming up this year. And I'd love to hand that over to you, Ian, to talk about.
This is the joy of being in programs, get to be a part of building all of these things. Yes, we are 100% wanting to make sure that our queer elder voice is a part of the work we're doing. We've got, of course, the Pride Festival coming up. We do have a senior tent specifically for our population, and we want that thing to be popping this year, y'all. It's always been a great resource tent and a great respite tent, but we're also interested in finding out what brings joy to you. How can we continue to develop that year after year to make it a place, to make it the place to be, because that should be the place to be. We're partnering with other folks like the Warrior Women of Color and Sister Allies that have got a picnic coming up, which you'll be seeing more information about in our newsletter. We're heading into our community resilience drive right after Pride, which brings us up to Friendsgiving. We've talked about that before, and Max and Deborah, you have been involved with that even longer than I have. So I want to give the floor to you to talk a little bit about how that brings community together.
Well, Friendsgiving, it's how long is it? I mean, Friendsgiving really started when you know, warrior women, just folks were women of all colors, loca,
Loca.
like lesbians of a certain age. I hope I'm getting that right.
Mm-hmm.
You got it.
Started meeting and having these were groups that started meeting at Q Center years ago. And, they had elder program and things were happening. And there was a holiday picnic, not picnic, sorry, potluck, right? And when that became no longer an option, it basically we found a way to keep making it happen because it's, in our community, the holidays are really complicated. We don't always have family to go and be with or that we want to be with. And then you start talking about seniors, and then you've got the multiplication of do they have family, right? And just all of these things, right? And we come back to chosen family. And that's really where the potluck had come from, the holiday gathering. And so it's just continued over the years. And we just kind of took it on the last few years to ensure that it was happening and that people could stay connected and come together and have a lot of food and just have a really good time. It's a highlight, most definitely. It's 30, 40 people, something like that.
It was over 40 this past year.
It is definitely like a big old family reunion without the drama, basically.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say there was drama when I left the undisputed king of Uno 2 years ago.
It's a different kind of drama, right? It's a different kind of, so yeah, and it's in November.
It's on Thanksgiving Day when everybody else is closed.
Right. Everybody's closed, everybody else is gone, whatever's going on. So we just come together and have a really good time.
Yeah. And that is, again, these are specific moments where we're having those moments of celebration, those moments of gathering. But as we alluded to in the first episode, we're also taking very seriously what it looks like for us to protect each other. And one of the pieces that I've been really proud that we've been a part of is our emergency preparedness. And Max, I think you can talk a little bit because you've delivered several emergency preparedness kits, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about what that means for us to be engaged in that work.
Yeah. Well, one thing that doing the research and really digging into what an emergency kit could look like, I think what became really apparent is there are things that many emergency kits do not have in them that are very important. So we started, once we were given the funding, we started to do a little bit more research so that we could keep our older adults connected to a phone that is working and charged, light, as well as multiple other things that we added in that kit. Why I'm spacing out on everything right now, we had specific things related to operating in a kitchen, opening jars, lots of little things that are hard to find. A wind-up radio that's solar, so you need no electricity. You just need a little sunshine. I know that's hard for here. But the point is to really be thinking about losing just about everything you have in your house to keep you connected to the outside world and having a place to go to plug that in and come back in case you do lose electricity or you do need help potentially with something within your home that you can't get help at the time. So with the emergency kits, we are also trying out some ideas that some older adults gave us feedback on. There's one older adult that we see who's very independent, very non-trusting, but did send me an email and said, "Thank you for the bag. I am really challenged with technology, and I figured everything out." And I thought, thank goodness. And then I heard from somebody else who said they loved everything but one thing. And so it's good to get the feedback, because we are kind of operating in a place of, again, where are the gaps that we can fill, build that bridge. Another thing that I've talked about and alluded to in the first episode was going through an emergency services training. And I learned that the state of Oregon, through this training opportunity that I'll be able to provide, and hopefully we'll be able to schedule something this fall, where I continue to offer trainings and preparedness, emergency preparedness for the older adults that we're spending time with, and give them even more equipment that is no cost to them. And that's one thing about the state of Oregon, that along with the training, they offer a lot of things that people need during an emergency that we don't have to provide, and we hadn't even offered anyway. So we're starting to build off of the idea of the grants, me becoming more certified in a way, if you want to put it that way, has opened the door for me to be able to share this knowledge, to get feedback on what I'm sharing, to take into consideration the amount of anxiety or maybe trauma or feelings of trauma that preparing for an emergency might give people, but to let them know that they're learning and working with chosen family to get themselves prepared. It's not easy to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about these things, but at the same time, I don't think I could live with myself if I didn't try to get people in a place where they feel supported in their home if something were to happen. And that they also know in the outside world that we have a phone tree that they can connect to as well. And that's another project we're working on. So I'm going to take a quick break from talking.
Yeah.
And hand it to you,
great.
Ian.
Yeah, no. I agree with you, Max. And I think this is, again, whoever's listening to this right now, it really comes back to the place where there are building blocks. Some of the things are works in progress. Some of them are a little bit more grounded and developed. But if I had to think of a call to action for our community, no matter who you are, it's really start investigating how you can participate, with the caveat of, and have some patience as things are being built. We have this opportunity to look at challenges and solutions through a beautiful lens of our elders, some of whom they've seen this, they've cycled through these things, and they've come out the other side. So there are solutions that are already embedded in our community. And then there are those of us who have the opportunity to sort of take up the torch to continue to enact and grow what solutions look like, what strong community looks like, what a rooted community looks like. Those I love me a good metaphor. as you will learn about me. But yeah, we've got this amazing root system from those who have been in Portland, in the state of Oregon, and have stayed and been a part of our legacy, our history. So this is, I mean, it's a call to action, but really it's an invitation. It's an invitation to joy through being a part of just the engagement. And I'm gonna go my personal, because we all have moments, I think, where we're really find a connection. And I'm not naming names, but if you're listening to this, you'll know who you are. I grew up poor, and my brother, sister, and I, this is in Pennsylvania, used to go back in the woods and pick blackberries every summer. And the one thing we had was a freezer. So we always had a freezer full of blackberries for my mom to make pie. And imagine my delight when I moved to Oregon and realized that blackberries weren't hiding back in the woods. You could just find them along the roadside. And so I love right at sunrise
They're
going. They're
everywhere.
everywhere, yes. But a lot of them don't get eaten. But I love
Hmm.
to go and find, roadside blackberry bushes and just go pick them at sunrise. And one of my favorite things to do is put them in little pint-sized Chinese
Hmm.
to-go boxes and bring them to events with elders, because blackberries are
Yes.
freaking expensive in the grocery store.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And
Yep.
also I'll make jams and things like that and pies that I share. But getting to talk with one of our elders who was talked about her favorite blackberry mead recipes. And this year, I'm looking forward to connecting with them to see if I could make that happen. I've done some blackberry liqueurs, but I'm excited to just, we have this thing in common. So being able to
Hmm.
connect with somebody on a fundamental core memory for me, which is blackberry picking and having them throughout the year. And now being able
Hmm.
to expand that and share that with somebody is really exciting. So that's my little moment of, brings a happy tear to my eye because the opportunity for connection at Friendsgiving was available.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Hmm.
whenever they're
Yeah.
like, well, I came to this other thing and you brought blackberry jam and I loved it so much. And I had one
Hmm.
more left I was able to get her to take at Friendsgiving, but it was just so nice to just sit and talk for 15 minutes about that little aspect of her life and tell her why I love to do it and find out what she loved about blackberries.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's just so much connection
Mhm.
that because our generations don't hang out together as nearly
Hmm.
as much as we should, that we just miss out
Hmm.
on. One of the
Yeah.
things for most of my life, I have tended to hang out with people older than I am. Uh, when I was younger, that was people my age. And now it's, we just sort of progress forward. But there tends to be this perception that senior folks are super serious, right? And they don't get scowls on their face or whatever. And there is nobody funnier on the planet than an elder person. Senior folks, especially you get them together around a table of cards or something. Oh my God. You
Hmm.
just sit back and you just cry the whole time. And I
Yeah.
I think there's even when things are really serious and when an elder gets mad, there's just this element of uh it's not, how do I put it? There's just this element of not taking things too seriously. At least
Hmm.
not, especially not taking them so seriously that you can't act
Mhm.
Hmm.
or that you can't
Hmm.
respond or deal with, right? It's very much
Hmm.
like, well, all right, here we go again, or whatever it happens to be. Um,
Yeah.
and I've just noticed that seniors, you just get really comfortable with having a sense of humor,
Mhm.
Hmm.
and it's just a lot of fun. I just sit and hang
Hmm.
out all day. Um, and
Well,
Go ahead.
can I just chime in? I want to just, you know, do a little Ian lifting here because never in my life have I had anybody I've worked for that brought and made their own blackberry jam to share with elders. I've been working probably 20, my first job, I was 14. Okay. I've been working a long time. Never in my life have I ever had somebody, a mentor like you, prepare turkeys for people on Thanksgiving. Folks, this is what makes this organization unique to others. I've worked for organizations that have the biggest hearts but would not show up on Thanksgiving Day, let alone making some turkeys and blackberry jam and the things. So I just got to say, like, this to me, like, inspires me as much as all the work we've been doing. And I wish I could cook as well as you, Ian. Um, and I too love
Don't
the
we
heck out
all?
of black
Well,
bag.
and
So
let's remember this, it all grows organically. I was
it
not
does.
always the person who was asked or allowed to bring food. Remember, when y'all met me, I was guy with pickup truck with access to folding tables. So,
Hmm.
I started out in that role, and I made my way up little by little.
To
But
I know
top
you still
chef.
have that role, but
Nobody
I
knows
think
you have a pickup truck. That's what
I
one of our folks say. Don't tell anybody that
don't tell
Ian
anybody
has a
that. That's
pickup
right. Well, I mean, I think this is part of, and I think we talked about this in the last episode of, and it's not about, because I think we have to be realistic about agencies, organizations, service programs. They operate under a lot of pressure. They're never resourced enough.
truck.
It's overwhelming. They're not paid well enough, right? And they're yeah. So all those things are real, right? And
Hmm.
and so I don't want to negate
Hmm.
what the purpose that they serve and the good that they do.
Yeah.
And I think there is something to be said for this whole concept of community doing for community, because Ian trucking in the turkeys and picking up the tables, and we're all
Carving the turkeys.
carving the turkeys. We're all there on Thanksgiving Day, right?
Hmm.
We all brought something in, right? And we all part of the planning, or the picnic. The picnic happens typically on a Saturday or Sunday.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Yep.
those are like the traditional days off, right? Not in reality, but you know what I mean. Um, there is a difference when you're talking about showing up for community, and it's yes, it's part of our job, and we're part of the community. So I think
Hmm.
there's a difference in how the approach happens, and I want to be really careful not to
Yes. I'll say.
not to negate the very real commitment that other people in our community
Hmm.
give in
Hmm.
their positions, especially in other community organizations. Super
Hmm.
duper real, and burnout is super duper real if you can't
Hmm.
make cut the boundaries, right? You gotta have
Hmm.
these lines, and at the same time, it does leave a gap in
Hmm.
the real lived experience of community members who need community connection, right? And it's not just about a transaction with a service agency
That's right.
kind of a thing. No matter
Hmm.
how much the people in those agencies care, and no
That's
matter
right.
how much they want to be able to accomplish, it's not about them. It's about a reminder that community community is 24/7. It doesn't mean that we have to be on call
That's right.
24/7, right? It's not about that.
Hmm.
But this is also where this is why it matters how many people are engaged, so that no
Hmm.
one's carrying the full
Hmm.
load, so
That's
that no
right.
one has to always be the one responding. This is how we make it through without
Hmm.
everybody and their grandma's grandma burning out,
Hmm.
because community is all pitching in and sharing that load. And that is
Hmm.
really, in all of the work that Pride Northwest does, that is a run through element for us. It's because we care about our community, and our
Hmm.
community cares about itself, and what can that look like? What can be accomplished with that? And that is really, for me, what's being demonstrated in the approach to uh, the Pride Elder Connections
Hmm.
effort that we've launched.
Hmm.
So yeah, it does matter that someone from the agency is bringing in the turkeys and bringing in
Hmm.
homemade stuff, right? And just even
Hmm.
thinking about all these small pieces, that does matter, because the experience is different than just simply going to a meal service, if you will, right?
Yeah.
And this is just,
Yep.
this is the kind of thing that we, and when I say we, I mean all of us, can do in community. This is what community is about. And if we can extrapolate that and grow it out, then you know, that's the big picture. Yeah.
Well, we were all at a conference last week, and their keynote speaker said something that stayed very close to my heart and head. And they said that freedom is an independent action, but liberation is grounded in community. And I just thought, I have something I can live by that I can relate to even more. And I do think that community, being here for one another on terms that are really maybe unique or a little different, lets us know that we're not alone. It liberates us from isolation. It liberates us in so many ways, so that we can feel included and part of a collective consciousness. And that's the other thing with the volunteer opportunities and the building of this program. You know, there's nothing stopping having people come here and be a part of building this up with us. In fact, I don't ever want to be the main lead of this. I always want to be a part of it. And so folks out there, please know that this is a huge invitation for you to get in touch with us. Not sure how that gets shared. If you want me to say my email address right now, because there's lots of ways that I can talk to folks. Other ideas have come up. We've talked about an intergenerational event that we might hold. So I just want to make sure that people know that, you know, if, you know, lowering your expectations and working within a group in a more collective minded way, and being unconditional in how you give in this space, because I guarantee you come out with a lot. And it's not going to look the same. It feels really different. Just like Ian, it feels really different that you cook the turkeys. Like, that just changes the game. And it's not a game. It just changes the whole
We're gonna need Henry
experience.
to make a turkey meme for Ian now. We're just gonna have to, yeah.
He's like, oh, dang, I was going to take off this year.
When the podcast gets posted, there will be notes to go with it, you know, links,
Okay.
you know, important information, contact, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So definitely, folks who are watching or listening, you know, take advantage of that. You'll be able to find all of that with the episode notes that go up when you find us. So yeah. Well, are there any other significant, like, you know, we talk all day. Sign up for the newsletter, sign up to volunteer. If you're able, you know, this is definitely, Pride Northwest as a whole it doesn't receive government funding. We don't do contracts like that. Still, if you're able, support. But definitely get engaged, sign up for the newsletter, stay up to date on what's happening, reach out to us with any questions, needs, concerns, all of that. Because the more voices in the room, the better everything we do is going to be.
And yeah, no matter where you're at in this continuum, you're heading this way too.
That's right.
So I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm building the thing that I want available for me in 10, 15 years, because
there you go.
I don't know if this is TMI, but I used to be the boy dancing on the box or delivering cocktails in my underwear in the gay bar. So now that I'm on the other side of that, I still want to be able to experience that joy. And honestly, and I find it so much connecting with our elders who are more and more becoming my peers. And yeah, be a part of growing something, blooming something, having fun. The last little anecdote, the thing that I loved, why it's important for elders to be a part of their own conversation. I remember saying, like, do we want card nights? Do we want a potluck or a picnic? One of our most spicy elders was like, when we go into the strip club. And I was like, you know what? That's right. When we go into the strip club.
Field trip here we have. That's a field trip.
Exactly.
This is not your grandma's
Exactly.
program.
Just because we're getting older doesn't mean we ain't queer AF.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that's right. You said it.
Right on. Well, I appreciate both of you for being here, for having this conversation, and just for doing all of this work and being who you are. Thank you very much.
It's my honor and pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Deborah, we know you've been about it since the beginning, so being your partner is amazing.
Yep. I'm the lucky one here, so there.
I'm the lucky one.
Look, I'm in the middle, so y'all just take it offline. All right. I think we're going to wrap that up. And yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. Reach out. We look forward to meeting you. And
Yes.
yeah, let's call it a day.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for listening to PrideScape, the official podcast of Pride Northwest with Executive Director, podcast producer, and host, Debra Porta. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. For more information on what you heard here today and to support the work of Pride Northwest, go to pridенw.org.